which follows the tradition of a lot of things I've had on here before and talked to you about in general, where any sort of like furry game is super dark. I don't know why. But yeah, this is a very pixel RD RTS, if I recall. Someone else playing it. Where
Oh yeah, it is an RTS.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Of course.
I'll just watch on a delay because I don't want to risk
Yep.
interneting.
Oh, it's very like console controls friendly one too, apparently. Actually, you know what?
Huh.
Now that I've told it I'm using a keyboard, of course, and it's gonna gamepad controls. Go. Group Rally Army. Okay. Okay.
Oh, so it's an RTS by way of like cannon fodder or multi-witty or those sorts of ones.
So, the real thing, there might have been an intro that I skipped because of everything going wrong today. But the basic idea is you got all these animals who, for whatever reason, have kind of decided, okay, like, we're eating meat from now on. Some of which are, like, carnivorous things, some of which are, like, rabbits, so it's kind of weird. Meat is mainly in the form of pigs, who are totally sentient and totally, like, worker units. And it's kind of this, like, I can recall it was more like French or Russian Revolution aesthetic.
Oh, there are like gun platforms and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't expecting this.
Shuffling back to our turrets here. Sure, nice to take care of this. Okay. But yeah, like the controls to me remind me a lot of Brutal Legend, which was also like a very console-friendly, just grab your big pile of guys and run in sort of approach to RTSs.
I still need to try that.
Yeah, I would recommend. There's a choice. Okay, like don't just have everybody follow you when you're getting shot at. That's kind of bad. So it's very just like use your character as a living cursor, essentially. And okay, I'm getting the hang of this. So I'm a little familiar with this because I saw a friend stream it once. But yeah, it's all about like them food supplies.
Oh, your hero unit can die then. I didn't notice before you had health.
Oh yeah, it's hard, but it happens. Then you got your little base here. You can talk to all your crews, which I really appreciate this sort of thing. But what I recall about this from seeing somebody else play through the whole story mode here is that, like, the entire campaign is going through every faction. It's like, so here's why we were actually the good guys. And everybody else like, okay, we're really not. um, I'll just get into it.
Is the civilized one of the selectable factions?
Yeah.
So I take it they're the civilized, the long coats. Do you know what the rest are, or what any of their deals are?
Okay, so the civilized are like the established power structure. Who, it's nice. And yeah, just kind of dropping down unit builders that work kind of automatically. So you have the civilized, which are like the currently established power, who are just, you know, decadent fat cats who are just like keeping all the meat to themselves. You have the longcoats, who are like the formal revolution. You have, I don't recall their name, they're like the People's Rebellion. Very much like, you know, you're just establishing a new nobility. We want to like be a proper democracy. I just happen to be the most popular person, and it's not my fault that people want to have me in charge. And then, this is fourth fiction. If I play along, I'll get into what they all are. But like, it all comes down to. So here's why I should have all the food.
In a way, it's refreshing to have one of these war games where it's like clear in the text that the authors are aware that you're treating all the peasants like shit.
Yeah.
I have a lot of difficulty playing Civilization games because of how much they kind of believe their own propaganda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Civilization can get like uncomfortable that way. Less so Alpha Centauri, which is kind of what I like about it.
Mm.
I mean, it helps that like Alpha Centauri officially has like a fascist faction in it. So what is my main resource limit here? Just food. Okay. So let me build one more of these, which has a cost. Oh yeah, it costs 60.
No.
This being all like one button is weird. Yeah, we have the pigs here who are like farming all this food for them to eat, and then we eat the pigs, which is just really grim.
Class metaphor.
And the particularly dark thing is like, oh no, they don't count as people. To anybody. Okay, so yeah, I can just bring them in and have these hang back, or just bring these around to like do some long-range destruction of enemy buildings when. Okay, and I like need to build more war in here somewhere, which I don't know how to do.
Is it that rally the Distillery Brothers prompt?
Yes.
Oh, that went away when I said that.
Okay, so Oh, I did build the E-Worms. Okay, never mind.
Oh, it looks like you already,
Yeah,
the
okay.
objectives are in the top left, and I guess you already completed the one.
pigs have little pistols to defend themselves with.
Do you get through all the story modes and then there's the secret final one and it's the pigs?
I would assume so. I would hope so, because they deserve it.
Yeah, that seems like the natural progression. It reminds me of playing like Rise of... I don't remember if it was Rise of Nations or other games that were like it where you could do like villager rushes.
So these hit air, these do not. Gotcha. You guys, back up. You guys, get in here. And they just like generate new troops on their own from my base, and
A big problem with trying out an indie RTS title is it's so hard to tell until you're like hours into it whether it's going to have like any depth.
so here's like
Your
all my
siege units were just going point blank and firing. What?
yeah. So it's like it's tricky with the very console friendly controls. See what's happening.
I'm Canadian. Violet isn't. I've had people comment on the accent before, and I guess I still can't hear it. And I'm curious what you heard that tipped you off.
Yeah, it's a very Russian Revolution flavored thing. Very Animal Farm, except we're totally just eating the pigs.
Repairing the toilet by swinging a hammer at it.
That's what we got here. Like, I appreciate the simplified nature of this, where it's just like, you know, you build your stuff, it cranks out units automatically, and then you just kind of like go ham, either with the everybody come here or just you come here. But it's like, it gets a little sloppy.
It looks like in a lot of combat, you need to kind of run ahead of your troops, and then
Yeah,
because you're basically just like a walking attack move click.
exactly.
But I don't know how good that is, because if all you can do is attack move, it kind of implies that all your strategies are going to be like some form of the like bio ball kind of deal, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting.
The choice of words, I find that interesting to hear, but useful. Thank you.
This one's really comes up. Just not, so yeah, just.
It's funny you mention that too, because I've heard multiple people say that too, but I don't know. I think people around here are assholes, but I haven't. Maybe I just haven't been in the U.S. long enough. Maybe my barometer is off.
Could be. So like the tutorial's a little bit weird with buildings because it's like, here's the one thing I'm allowed to build right this second. Normally we do the whole list that I can cycle through, and it's like.
Oh, sorry, I'm interrupting by talking to chat. Keep going.
like, okay, for now, like right now, it's really wants to show me how to build these turrets, but it's like I want to build farms too. Like, it's weird to force me. Just do the one at a time.
Is there more than one way to say pants? Pants. Pants. Pants.
I guess. I don't think that's like one that has a particular accent to it, though.
Pantaloons.
There is the very British thing of saying pants doesn't mean underwear, though.
Pants.
Yeah, that too. You should build more. I'm trying to. Oh dear. Did I wall myself in too much? Okay, now it's let me do the farm skin.
There are a number of people here, I guess more rural people, at least back in Ontario. Ontario's not really here when I'm like West Coast now, but that's where I grew up. And there were a lot of people that said words like car in a way that really annoys me because we had, it's like that almost Milwaukee kind of thing where people go like, "Ka," like,
well, that's more Boston. Yeah, he had me just being like, yeah, I just want to, you know, kill the bad guys. It's fine. I don't want to like roll things afterwards, and then that totally happens.
I didn't realize there was more than one way to pronounce bagel either.
What was that?
Bagel?
I've never...
Is there another way to pronounce bagel?
Not that I've ever heard in my life.
British people have no right to say anyone else is speaking English wrong when they still say aluminium.
Yeah. It's a fair comment. Okay, so now I have like, some proper control over what I'm actually doing. That's good.
Bagel. Bagel. Put some butter on the bagel. That's a distinctly American thing I've noticed, at least, is turning all your T's into D's, but plenty of people do that here. Actually, compared to when I grew up, I feel like the accents around here have gotten Americanized, I assume, as the internet has gotten more prominent.
That'll happen.
Because, like, I always try to say butter just because I'm fancy, but I hear, like, butter. Temperature. Nobody here says Toronto anymore. Everyone says Toronto. And it's like, that's not even how it's spelled. Toronto. It sounds like some kind of dessert. That's a good point. Perhaps our sarcasm is just too refined.
Okay, so now I'm like playing for real, finally. That's a bit into the tutorial for that, honestly, but hey. Okay, let's get...
One stereotype about Canadian vernacular that I find funny is that I do hear people say "fuck you, buddy," like put "buddy" at the end. I assume that's because our hate speech laws require you to add "buddy" to the end of expletives.
I also thought it was just people referencing South Park.
No, I think people have always said that here. I mean, that's the primary place I hear it referenced these days.
Let's get this farm going.
I really like the shade I've encountered in Japanese conversation from the little bit I've encountered it, just because it's so like dry and subtle, and it's like, ooh, it's like as a connoisseur of sarcasm, I appreciate it.
1 second. Hi, I can't talk to you. Okay, good night. Yes.
What part of Canada did you visit out of curiosity?
Yeah. I was expecting you to show up anytime, but I didn't. Anyway.
I guess another element is that like I've worried about my diction more since I like tried to speak into my head post transition, because for some reason people code diction as like feminine. I don't know why that is, but I'll take every advantage I can get. Saying it to the parking lot entrance machine. I guess now you mention it, I've thanked a Roomba on an occasion or two, but I treat it more like just practice courtesy. Everyone does thank like the transit drivers with some frequency here, and I've been told that's very unusual. Oh yeah, I've been to Nova Scotia. I quite liked the time I spent there.
The basic RTS units here, they haven't really done a ton to describe them to me, but it's like kind of straightforward. That's bad.
Interesting. I haven't heard that about Dutch and Scandinavian, but I guess I don't really know if there are any Dutch or Scandinavian people in my friend groups.
Oh, the pigs die, you have to rehire them, of course.
Must construct additional pigs.
And, that's bad. Okay, you know what? Can I,
Sell squirrel.
Like, I like how simplified the UI is for most things, but I really wish I had a more proper build menu than I do. And, like, a little bit more direct control over, Okay, can I just, like, restart this, Oops.
I feel like they could make it so that you could like hold a button and then like paint a vector out and be like, move that way, troops.
Yeah. Press again and not, like, die horribly because I'm spacing out. Okay. Get a whole farm going.
This kind of reminds me of Command and Conquer Red Alert in that it's not like StarCraft where you're using a small team of units like a scalpel that is more about like accruing resources and just like washing a wave over the enemy base.
I mean, to be fair, people do play StarCraft like that.
Yes.
So I like these instant hire mercenaries that are on this map just for quick start purposes. Need to really build some stuff.
Considering how many MOBA experimental games there have been, and considering that at the esports level, MOBA teams tend to have a coach, I'm surprised that there have not been any MOBAs that try to have like a single commander unit that's like controlling the creeps and like playing the RTS game while the hero units run around as individual players.
Yeah, I can see that. So get some basic squirrels in here.
We are indeed leaving quarantine mode, which I'm not sure I agree with. But and they're imminently going to start charging everyone for transit again. I mean, I was like sick at home most of the time, even pre-pandemic, so my life hasn't changed very much, so perhaps I shouldn't talk.
I mean, there's that.
They sent me a very helpful email telling me that I am not in fact getting the like workers supplement that apparently most people are getting because I'm on disability, because apparently if you're disabled you are just inherently not working, even though I'm having to report my income so that they can deduct it if I earn too much at my business, which I'm definitely not working at, so I'm not sure how that works.
Yep. Get some farms going, get some more units going. It's like a lot of the strategy here seems to just be like get your ratio of units where you want it. And then they'll just like keep firing them out into that ratio as best they can. You say it's time for me to attack. I say it's time for me to get one of these going, but you know. We can agree to disagree on that point, I guess.
Yeah, I hear that. I've been kind of disappointed that people have been freaking out to the degree that they have because of the isolation. Like, I understand people being worried because they don't know if infrastructure will hold up, they don't know if their jobs will still be there, like that stuff makes sense. But people who are freaking out purely because like, oh, I've got to sit mostly inside. Like, oh no, you poor baby.
Fighting on farm is probably not the best idea. So these are very good. I want more of these.
Oh, interesting. I haven't witnessed a whole lot of like people policing each other firsthand. People have been pretty like good about like being respectful with the social distancing and like maintaining the like self-regulating on the bus and stuff like that. So maybe Canada is better about certain things, and I'm just taking it for granted.
I mean, America is uniquely doing badly. Okay, so this game is like also by virtue of having this big open map and having all your units inherently in one big clump. Really, it encouraged me to play this way I play StarCraft, which is just turrets, 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 turrets.
No, I've seen it.
I got a notice from my gym that they're in light of public health events going to be cleaning the machines every day, and I was like, that doesn't make me feel better.
Yeah, that's like, hey, in light of the COVID epidemic, all employees of our restaurant will now wash their hands when they come into work every day. It's like,
yeah, pretty much. I find it really funny that Pizza added like tamper-proof seals to their pizza boxes and stuff, because like it's a thing that makes people feel safer, but I'm pretty sure COVID wasn't spread in any case by people deliberately tampering with a pizza. Yeah, right? Breathing hard in the room's still just as bad.
My farm now.
Actually, if anything, I find that people have been nicer during the pandemic. I don't get like gross guys glumping next to me on the bus and like trying to start conversations because everyone needs to stay. I wish the transit experience I've been having during the lockdown was the one I'm going to have after, especially as someone that gets sick very easily in the best of times.
I like the lighting effect on these boars as they're lighting things up.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it seems like they actually painted a lit version of the sprite.
I also kind of appreciate these like scouting runs they're doing. Yeah.
I gotta say, with the theming of the game, I was kind of expecting the combat to be a little more like Dawn of War, right? Like with units like tearing each other apart in fatality animations and stuff, but it's kind of just standard shoot the guns.
Yeah, that's object complete. Now I can just kill everybody. Get these farms farming.
Oh, look at this wasteful grist mill. I'll tear it down and build a new one in its place, less wastefully.
Yep.
So I assume that part of the intended cruel irony of this world they've set up too is that they've got a thriving agrarian society, and it seems implied that they do have enough food.
Oh yeah, it's actually like very stated if you like talk to everybody in your town in the story missions here. That like no, everybody could totally eat all the like food they're giving to the pigs just fine. It's just that everybody wants to have some meat.
Oh, okay.
It's a status thing.
Status thing.
Which is basically
I
cannibalism.
kind of like the idea of an RTS where every faction is hypocrites.
Yeah.
I get really annoyed when it feels like every strategy game or fantasy game thing they always position, especially like when there's a human faction, they're like the goody two shoes.
I mean, that's what I liked about StarCraft.
Oh
It
yeah,
was-
they're kind of.
it was decidedly
the
not
Terrans,
that.
They're kind of. I mean, the Terrans, the actual fighting units are all like convicts that the Earth government's like forcing to fight, aren't they?
Yep. Yeah, here's the plot slowly advancing as far as like finding more excuses to not pay all the troops properly.
That's another thing that made the StarCraft 2 story so bad when you've got Raynor just being this, you know, cowboy gunslinger that doesn't play by the rules, and he's gonna kickstart this revolution into gear. And when he was talking about that, I was like, wait, what revolution? What?
So here's what gets really dark, by the way.
What was that?
Here's what gets really dark, by the way, when you can actually talk to the pigs.
Oh dear, they have numbers.
numbers and hobbies, and they play checkers.
Oh wow.
Like this gets dark as hell.
I actually like it more that it's gone as dark as it has.
Yeah.
Because if it just was the surface level thing, it would seem like a little bit. It would actually be more uncomfortable to me if it was presenting it as more okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does a nice job, especially as it goes on, of like really, and this is, I had to come in here for a mission too. Like really singing, like no, every faction is really awful in this. It is totally cannibalism. Like there's no wiggle room on this. Okay, now it's getting to the point too where it's like more of a okay, yeah. Turrets I don't actually need. Let's see. This one? This one. This one. You know what? For good measure, this one. Okay, now. Farm it.
Coding is definitely a skill that's always good to have, but as a job prospect, the field is like always unrecognizable a few years compared to where it was prior. Like I got kind of rusty with like focusing on music and like my health for a while, and I feel like computer science almost left me behind in the meanwhile. And then it's going to like all change again when it switches. Like it seems like this is the one time machine learning is actually getting serious, and it's going to have to completely rethink how we approach like designing things.
Oh, that said, you still seem to like.
You can easily end up a code monkey that's very replaceable. That's true too.
I mean, within your particular specialty of like doing crazy graphical things, though, you still seem to be way better educated than most people who do it professionally.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm surprised even now, after it's like so out of date, I'm still getting emails from people regarding my Unreal stuff being like, hey, I can't find stuff like this anywhere else. When are you updating it? And I need to update it. Yep, everyone I knew in tech was burnt out and traumatized from it and stuff too. And then I grew up wanting to get into video games, and then I got to video games, and video games was on fire when I got there.
Yep.
If I got a slightly earlier start and I got into a big studio, like I'm actually kind of glad I didn't. Even aside from like all the horrible Nazis and stuff, like working at a big game studio just sounds like a really bad job at this point in history.
Oh, I remember talking to someone who has some like major credits to his work about people wanting to get into games, and his advice is being, no, you really don't. Like it's not a good place to try to work. What is this? I wonder.
I think there's money to be made doing like freelance games work. I think indie communities need to like build their whole ecosystem separate from the AAA, which is probably more future-proof, not to mention.
Okay, apparently I do need there.
But like I'm basing that on having been like an early asset store adopter, so I was in kind of a lucky position. I have no idea if anything I did would work for anyone else. That's kind of the problem with GDC talks and stuff, right? Is that it's also survivor biased. Like someone could get up there and be like, this is how I became a millionaire. And it's like, okay, but that doesn't mean it works for anyone else.
Okay, once again,
if you want to be successful in the games industries, just be in your 20s in the 80s and have a bunch of friends work 18-hour shifts.
Yeah.
And then you'll be successful.
Anyone can do it.
Yep, a whole lot of labor is not what actually contributes to the world, which makes me bristle for additional reasons on top of all the other reasons that people talking about productivity or like contributing to society in this or that context is already bad.
Hmm. Do I have any more inessential turrets? That won't, like, really come back to bite me if I pull them up. Okay, there's some basic going in now. So we should get a few actual units on the table, I think. Not get utterly mobbed right away. That's just grim. The little animation for the mills there.
Oh wow, no kidding.
And that's those NPCs just explaining, like, yeah, some of the pigs work up top, you know, doing the farming to feed the other ones who live on the underside of the mill, where things work differently.
Oh wow, the big saw blade even.
Yep.
Have you heard about those businesses that are popping up that sell children's blood to rich people who believe it's a miracle cure that'll like prevent aging?
I have heard of this thing that you did not make up and is real.
Because we live in a William Gibson novel. I mean an old good William Gibson novel.
Oh, is this thing really bad recently?
He just got a lot. It's hard to explain.
Let me rephrase that. Has he written something bad recently?
I heard that. Actually, no, I don't want to misspeak. I remember hearing bad stuff about what he had written recently, but now I can't remember the details. It was a hard veer away from like exploratory science fiction like he was doing before.
Hurry up.
I remember him going off on Twitter about how good Chappie was, which is frankly cancel-worthy alone.
I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by Chappie.
Too.
I've got plenty of cash for doing.
Chappie more like crappy. Chappie was what if David Cage directed Short Circuit.
That's exactly what it was, yes. Oh, it's just a, like, survive that kind of time. Okay. I was putting way too much into the infrastructure. Did not realize it was one of those missions. I guess that's like a decent. Well, okay, that's a decent enough case. People also think it might be done with this first mission path, like after this next one, and then it'll look to one of the factions. And if so, I'll go a little bit longer.
I was a little disappointed for as much thought as they put into like world building in this. It looks like it gets very samey in the combat very quickly.
Kind of can. I seem to call like different factions have different units though, at least, so it's something. But I also don't recall it being like full-on StarCraft. You're playing a different game now. Okay, bonus challenges with no structures built, huh? I'm assuming farms don't count. I'm also assuming this is one of those maps like I hate in every RTS that has them.
Oh yeah?
Where it's just the you know, use your units really carefully and don't get anybody killed and be very bored missions.
Oh, the now you are playing a bad third-person action game.
Yeah, that's the one.
RTS map.
Yep.
StarCraft 1 and 2 had a bunch of that, but at least they gave you like a ton of active abilities and things. I appreciated how in 2 they went out of their way to make it sure those missions were ones that were built around like a hero unit that you were playing around with.
Yeah, StarCraft 2 has fun missions. Like, I will complain about the story in that game till the end of time, but the missions are really fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed what I tried at the missions. I was kind of surprised that the story was like so bad that it like sucked all the... It was like this black hole of enjoyment that drew it out of the adjacent gameplay, where usually I can separate them pretty well. I mean, I say that as someone that enjoys like schlocky fighting game storylines, but StarCraft 2 had this problem where I kept feeling when I was playing it like it thought it was awesome.
Okay, it's actually just one of the characters then. Don't build anything, just like talk to other faction leader. Ah, yeah, here you are. Okay.
I've complained to you before about that bit where they have that like crisis of faith on like the final Zerg push, right? Where they're like all beaten and defeated, and Raider makes that some things are just worth fighting for speech. When he's not talking about serving a higher ideal, he's talking about the aliens are going to bite them to death if they don't fight back. Like, that's not really the sort of thing you say some things are just worth fighting for to, right?
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion, but I do not want to be bit by the aliens.
Yep. So the least evil faction leader is this gal here, the one-armed mouse mom, who like has this horribly, horribly tragic backstory and everybody likes her, but like is still, you know, trying to get cannibalism for the people. I'm just gonna skip to the top here, thanks.
I haven't heard of Caesar 3. Or Caesar 1 or 2. I kind of went into this expecting to be intrigued by the gameplay, but not like the theming, and I'm sort of coming out of it liking the theming, but being a little tepid on the gameplay.
Fair. Yeah, the gameplay is very, like, baby's first RTS. Way more mercenaries just sitting right here than I realized the first time through.
You shall read the word vengeance on the heel of thy boot. Truly the people's champion.
Probably not die. Yeah. Well, it's not a huge issue when you die, because your commander, you kind of... Neither dex nor taxes are inevitable.
Oh, you actually got some kind of poisoned?
Oh, did I?
Like, I noticed you had 3 skull and crossbones stacks over your head,
Oh,
and then
oh,
your
he did, yeah.
HP went down really fast. So I wasn't sure what that was about.
Anyway, yeah, that's good to tell. It's
Oh, I haven't heard of Signal Simulator. I'll keep an eye out
an
for
interesting
that.
one.
We spend most of the S playing like Sega games.